On December 7, 2025, West Africa woke up to a shockwave that rippled across the entire region. A country long regarded as one of Africa's most stable democracies suddenly found itself under military rule. Soldiers appeared on national television, calmly announcing that President Patrice Talon had been removed from power and that the government of Benin had been dissolved. This is the story of how the coup happened, why it took place, and what it means for the future of West Africa. For decades, Benin stood out as a symbol of democratic progress in West Africa. While its neighbors battled coups, insurgencies, and political turmoil, Benin maintained regular elections and a reputation for stability. But beneath this appearance of calm, frustration was growing. President Patrice Talon, who came into office in 2016, was both admired and criticized. Some praised his economic reforms and modernization efforts, while others accused him of authoritarian tendencies, weakening the opposition, influencing the judiciary, and tightening control over political space. Tensions brewed quietly but steadily. On the night of December 6th, unusual movements were observed in major cities. Military vehicles patrolled areas where they normally weren't seen. Communications around the presidential residence reportedly became restricted. Soldiers loyal to the coup organizers were quietly mobilizing. Within the ranks of the armed forces, a faction led by Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigre believed the government had failed the nation. They felt corruption had worsened, institutions had weakened, and national unity was crumbling. That night, they made their move. Just before sunrise on December 7th, gunfire was heard near the presidential residence. Confusion spread as citizens awoke to the sound of unrest. By early morning, the coup faction had taken control of Benin's national television station. Minutes later, the country heard the announcement that would change everything. A group of soldiers addressed the nation, declaring the formation of what they called the Military Committee for Refoundation. They stated that President Patrice Talon had been removed from office and that all state institutions had been dissolved. The message was simple: the military was now in charge. As the announcement spread, one question dominated discussions across Benin and beyond. Where is President Talon? For hours, there was no official statement from the government. Reports conflicted. Some claimed Talon had managed to escape the presidential residence. Others said he was in a secure location, protected by loyal forces. The uncertainty added to the tension. Without clarity, rumors grew and fear spread. People stayed indoors, unsure what might happen next. The coup was orchestrated by Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigre and a group of officers who described themselves as patriots. In their televised speech, they said Benin needed a new beginning, a refoundation built on patriotism, integrity, and national unity. They accused the government of corruption, failed leadership, and a lack of accountability. Tigre, known within military circles as disciplined and outspoken, claimed the intervention was necessary to save the country from further decline. But outside observers questioned whether this was truly about national interest or simply another military power grab like so many others seen in recent African history. Reactions among Beninese citizens were mixed. Many were afraid, knowing that military takeovers often bring instability. Families rushed indoors, businesses shut down, and a deep silence fell over major cities. But others expressed support, believing the coup might bring change to a political system they felt had become oppressive or unfair. For most people, however, the overwhelming emotion was uncertainty. They did not know whether the country was heading toward peace, a transition, or a dangerous conflict. The coup immediately triggered responses from across West Africa and beyond. ECOWAS condemned the takeover and called for a return to constitutional order. Nigeria heightened security at its borders, worried about instability spilling over. The African Union warned that unconstitutional changes in government would not be tolerated. But critics noted that West Africa had already faced several coups in recent years, in Mali, Guinea, Burkina Faso, and Niger, raising doubts about the region's ability to prevent yet another military transition. Shortly after the coup announcement, another surprising development emerged. A separate faction within the Beninese military claimed they were resisting the coup and attempting to restore control. This raised the possibility that the armed forces were divided, an extremely dangerous situation that could lead to violent clashes or a prolonged struggle for power. The stability Benin once enjoyed now seemed fragile, shaken by conflicting loyalties within the military itself. The coup in Benin is not an isolated event. It fits into a larger trend of military takeovers spreading across West Africa, signaling deep political and economic frustration in the region. It highlights issues such as corruption, weak institutions, youth unemployment, and declining trust in civilian governments. Benin, long considered a beacon of democracy, now joins a growing list of countries questioning whether civilian leadership is still working or failing. The events of December 7th, 2025 will be remembered as a defining moment in Benin's modern history. Was the coup a necessary intervention to fix a failing system, or was it another step backward for democracy in West Africa? As the world watches, one thing is certain: the future of Benin now hangs in the balance. What happens next will not only shape the destiny of one nation, but could also influence the political direction of the entire West African region. For now, Benin stands at a crossroads between hope, uncertainty, and the unknown road ahead. Like na comment, subscribe, and follow this channel for more update